Avengers Endgame delivered everything, and we mean everything. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be explaining the ending of Avengers Endgame. Think you know the Avengers? Click below to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com for your chance to win a prize from Culturefly. If ever there were a need for a spoiler alert, this is it. As the 22nd film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Avengers Endgame is a cinematic event that's had years of build-up, juggling dozens of characters along the way. So, as you can imagine, this film had more than a few cliffhangers to resolve. But virtually all the major storylines are given closure by the time the credits roll.
Spare his life, and I will give you the stone.
In Infinity War, Doctor Strange convinced Thanos to spare Tony Stark's life by giving up the Time Stone. Before disintegrating out of existence with the rest of the universe's snapped victims, Strange alludes to the fact that this was the only scenario in which they could defeat Thanos.
Tony, there was no other way.
Strange knew that Tony would be the key to cracking time travel, allowing the remaining Avengers to gather the Infinity Stones before Thanos and reverse the snap. This isn't the only essential role Tony plays in restoring order to the universe, as the epic final battle boils down to a rematch between him and Thanos. While Thanos' victory appears inevitable, the Mad Titan is thwarted at the hands of a mere mortal.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
With all 6 stones equipped in his Iron Man gauntlet, Tony snaps Thanos and his army out of existence while repeating his most iconic line from the first film in the MCU.
I am Iron Man.
This is arguably the most triumphant moment in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, although it's immediately followed by one of the most tragic. The Infinity Stones take a significant toll on whomever uses them, leaving the Incredible Hulk in an arm brace and Thanos on his last legs. Being a human who's already survived one too many brushes with death, Tony is completely drained after snapping his fingers. Surrounded by Pepper, Peter, and his other loved ones, Iron Man takes his dying breath.
I hope they remember you.
When Tony built his Mark II reactor, Pepper framed his old one with a message that reads, "Proof Tony Stark has a heart." What was once a humorous joke will now forever be associated with Tony's funeral, where the original reactor is set adrift. In addition to his daughter Morgan, almost every hero who fought beside Tony is present at this tear-jerking memorial. There are several notable omissions, though, showing that Tony wasn't the only one who paid the ultimate price to defeat Thanos. In order to retrieve the Soul Stone, Natasha Romanoff sacrificed herself at Vormir. As Bruce Banner explained, he tried to bring Natasha back with the snapped victims, but not even the stones could undo her death. This also means there will be no resurrections for Gamora, who Thanos sacrificed to snatch the Soul Stone in Infinity War. That being said, the 2014 version of Gamora traveled to present day during the climax of Endgame, skipping over both Guardians of the Galaxy movies. This Gamora thus has no recollection of Peter Quill or her other teammates. While it's unclear what exactly happened to this Gamora after Thanos' downfall, we wouldn't be surprised if she resurfaces in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Gamora was one of 3 major characters who died before Thanos snapped his fingers, the other 2 being Vision and Loki. Although neither of them was brought back from the dead in Endgame, keep in mind that 2 of the shows that have been confirmed for the Disney Plus streaming service are WandaVision and Loki. During the Avengers' visit back to 2012, an incarcerated Loki retrieves the Tesseract and uses it to escape. This might have left the door open for the God of Mischief to live another day, even if it's not a full-on resurrection.
No resurrections this time.
Outside of these loose ends, Endgame leaves no stone unturned. Clint is reunited with his family, Peter is gearing up for a European-class trip, T'Challa has reclaimed his place as King of Wakanda, Scott and Hope have some catching up to do with a grown-up Cassie, Valkyrie takes over as the ruler of New Asgard, and Thor is hitching a ride with the Guardians.
Who the hell are you guys?
To keep the MCU's continuity intact, though, Steve Rogers needs to make another trip back in time to return all the Infinity Stones they took during the time heist. Banner attempts to transport Cap back to the future, but things don't go according to plan. Suddenly, Sam Wilson spots a lone man sitting by the lake. It's an elderly Steve Rogers, who decided to remain in the past and see what he missed out on all those years he was frozen. It's a bittersweet moment for Wilson, who can't imagine a world without Captain America. If you've read the comics, however, you know that both Wilson and Bucky had taken up the mantle of Captain America, but Steve chooses Sam as his replacement. This comes to fruition as Rogers hands his shield to Wilson, who accepts with some encouragement from Bucky. Did we mention that Disney Plus also has a Falcon and Winter Soldier series in the works?
You couldn't have done that earlier.
I hate you.
While Steve doesn't go into great detail, we are given a glimpse of the quiet, simple life he's had. In a suburban household, Steve shares an overdue dance with Peggy Carter. It might have taken a lifetime, but Cap finally met Agent Carter for their date.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I had a date.
Considering that Captain America will always be the first Avenger, it's only fitting that this crucial chapter in the MCU closes out on his happily ever after.
Are you ready for our dance?
Both Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans have hinted that Avengers Endgame might mark their retirement from the MCU. With Tony Stark dead and Steve Rogers in his twilight years, it's safe to say that we won't be seeing much of either actor going into Phase 4 and beyond. If that is indeed the case, Endgame couldn't have provided them with a more rousing, touching, and poetic final curtain. Whatever the future holds for the MCU, one thing is for certain: Endgame will be remembered for generations to come.
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.